Hello there and welcome to Dean Park Station. It's been a while since my last update and there's quite a few changes in the layout over the past 6 to 8 weeks, so I'll quickly run through them for you today. If I zoom out, you'll see that I have now got backboards around the layout. They're 18 inches high and they're made from 6mm ply with pine battens, keeping them rigid, which I'll show you in just a minute. So as we zoom out slightly, take you around the back of the construction for the backboards, and I've basically built it as if it was a baseboard, but on its side I've got pine strapping. This bit of vinyl on the top there is to keep the ply straight, because it was obviously slightly wavy being a thin sheet material, and all I've done is I have cut the battens around the existing part of the layout. That's why I put these there in the first place, so that I had this design, and if I need to fix them in place permanently, I've got a screw hole there to fit them in. They are designed to come out because I've not got back scenes just now. I'm looking at using ID back scenes, which are 15 inches high, but you can get them made into slightly larger if you contact the ID back scenes website. To hold them in place, because there's a join here, I've used these clips that you might find, the buckle clips. I got them out of B&Q, and they're great for holding them together so that they're flush. Obviously, being sheet material, they want to move a little bit, but this will keep them in place, and these happen on every join right the way around the layout. So there we have it. Took me a couple of weeks to do all that. It's pinned and glued, and as I said, they do come out to allow me to put back scenes on at a later date when I've sorted out what I'm actually going to do. I'm sure you'll agree that it kind of frames the layout quite well, and it starts to allow me to work on the top section. I'm just going to go underneath and take you to the next part of my update. I've got some Peco buffer stops here, and they're going to be deployed all around the TMD and the station in due course. What I've done is I've painted them in a grey primer. It's Humbrol grey primer, and I've then used Rail Match BR yellow, and actually turned and changed it to rail colours from Humbrol, actually, the yellow, acrylic, easier to go on. And I've weathered them. You might not see them too well just now, but this is what a light weathering on it. As you can see in the rivets, starting to rust through, and a slight weathering on the yellow wood there to make it look less, like toy-like. A light wash, and this was done by using Humbrol weathering powders and Humbrol weathering washes. I thought I'll give them a bash, and they've worked out pretty well, especially around the rivet heads on the top there. Slight rusting and bleeding of the rust for ones that are outdoors. This will probably be the one on platform 1 at the station. The ones under the canopy will be slightly cleaner than that. The colour scheme for these was taken straight from Edinburgh Waverley itself, and the ones under the canopies are pretty mint condition, because obviously they're not getting the rain and all whatnot to rust them. This is one that I'll use at the TMD. As you can see, it's slightly more weathered, especially on the yellow pieces, with a wash, rust and dirt earth, and just basically general grime from being outside. I've chopped the lantern off the top of these Peco ones because I'm a modern image and they don't have lanterns on the top of them anymore, so I just got a Stanley knife and chopped it off before I painted it. One problem with the paint, well, some of the paints I've used, I don't know how the Humbrol will bear up. This was painted with another type of grey primer. The paint flakes slightly, and you can see at the end of the leg there, it's come off. I don't know if I'll have the same problem with the Humbrol acrylic, but it's a bit annoying that, so I'll have to just be careful how I put them on. I'm not going to put them in position now until it's all ballasted, because I'm not wanting to keep taking them off and on and risk chipping all the paint off. Okay, move around here, and I'm going to have to put the camera on top of the overbridge here, and I'll lay it there. Excuse me. I've been meaning to do this for ages. Show the underside of the roof, and hopefully you can see it there, the wooden structure and the internal metalwork beams and arches with the inside of the not stained glass, the dirty glass roof. So hopefully you can see that clearly in the video. Also I've got here is the footbridge. It's a Dapol Footbridge, and I've painted it in red oxide to match the fourth rail bridge, and it was a matte, it was from Phoenix Paint, and I've given it a satin coat, a Humbrol satin coat finish, just to make it look a bit more presentable. And I don't know if you'll see it on the video, but I have weathered the stairs to look like they've been trampled on, and got a bit of grime from daily use there. That was concrete, weathered concrete, again from Phoenix Paints. Quite good actually. I'm quite impressed with the paints, although buying them online is fairly cheap, but the postage is just extortionate now through Royal Mail for sending paints. Again, it's been undercover, so it's not heavily weathered, but you do get a decent turned on the camera too, a kind of grimy, especially at the end of before the steps there, just where people have been walking. So there you have it. I airbrushed that to get a good finish. It's all been airbrushed. I do like my airbrush. There we go. So there we do. That's the next bit. And as I walk up here, you'll see I've now got a double tunnel mouth. This is in ashlar material from Scalescenes. This is going to be the start of the retaining wall, which will run along here to this Waverley signal box, which is currently under construction. This is a mock-up, and the raised section will go all the way behind the canopy there. There'll also be a raised section here, and the retaining wall will go into the other side of the tunnel. And wherever this is here, this will be the town scene, city scene, and I've got the wood for that. I've got 9mm ply and pine. I've got 45mm by 45mm pine. I'll cut that to all the same sizes, and I'll use that as the pillars to hold it in place. So there we go. I zoom round, as you can see the back scene looking quite imposing actually, and there's another one of these clips in place there. Again, if I want to take the back scene off this section, I just unclip it and I'll prise that off, which is 8 foot long. I think that's all the updates that I've done since my last video. What we'll try and do is we'll get the trains moving here and see some action on the layout. Okay, that's the bridge, the roof back in place, and we'll get some more locals on the move. One of the reasons I made the back scenes quite so high is I wanted to still have a decent height in the back scene for the raised sections. If I'd made it just 12 inches, which is the same height almost as those flats, it would have left very little on show when the raised sections came into play. So at least that will still give me 14 inches of showing backboard on the raised city section and around at the TMD, which will be slightly higher because I'm planning on having a slight, very slight gradient climb there to the back scene, and the TMD will sit at about 5 inches high, as opposed to the race section on the other side, which will only be 4 inches in height. It's just a very slight gradient. One of the reasons was it will give me more space under the TMD level to fit all the point motors and the wiring, and allow a slightly more dramatic retaining wall here from the lower section to the upper section. That's all for now. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free as always to post them on the video, and I look forward to more videos as the winter now approaches and the upper section can get underway now that I've got these backboards in place. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.